My dad had a power windmill that made enough power into glass batteries to run the radio for about 10 minutes each evening. And people would just come down because we had the only radio on the street. People wouldn't knock or anything, they would just come in at 7, listen to the news. After the news, there was a short meditation, and after that, there was about 2 to 3 minutes of classical music. And it is there that I heard a violin. And I was hooked for life. I became obsessed there at the age of 4 or so, and it's still continuing at the age of 74.
In the small town of Lundley in South Africa, Jan van Rooyen's passion for music began, a passion that would later drive Jan around the world to establish a violin-making shop of his own. In his hometown in South Africa, Jan spoke a Dutch-derived language called Afrikaans and participated in many English traditions and hobbies, including tennis. However, Jan's musical ambitions emboldened him to use tennis racket strings and other materials found around his town in drastically different ways than they were originally intended to be used.
So there were many cast-off pieces of tennis racket string made of sheep gut. It's called catgut, but it's always been sheep gut. And I would pick them up and tie a knot at the one end and then stretch it between my teeth and rub it down with a rock until it was thin enough to make a violin string. So I made the A, D, and G strings myself. And for the E string, I loosened some wires of my dad's small chicken fence until he saw these small chickens wandering all over the place and realized what I was doing.
Jan's ingenuity did not end there either. Growing up in South Africa in a time of such harsh segregation and violence, Jan experienced many brutal realities in his lifetime. Looking back on his life, Jan reflects on 2 distinct times, his time as a musician and his time as a lawyer during the South African apartheid.
Yeah, then I was a lawyer in my previous life. I don't want to talk about that. I go to heaven because I've been through hell already.
Jan studied law at the University of South Africa, where he met Anna, who would later become his wife. Jan recalls the time that he proposed to Anna in their 4th year together.
I took Anna there to go and show her a full moon on the roof of the library and ask her whether she would marry me. And she said, it sounds a good idea. And 1 year later, we were not alone married, but we were studying at the University of Michigan.
After Jan completed his university studies, he returned to the University of South Africa, where he became a professor and taught as the department head of criminal and procedural law, where he had some rather well-known students.
And when Nelson Mandela was on Robben Island, imprisoned for life, I taught him criminal law and procedure. He was a student of mine. But I never met him until he was released, the political scene changed, and suddenly my university gave him an honorary doctoral degree.
Now, music had not disappeared from Jan's life. Jan continued his studies of music in South Africa and later in the United States, where he continued expanding his knowledge of violin making. After Jan and Anna formally left South Africa in the 1990s, they established residence in the United States and opened their own violin shop in Gainesville, Florida in 1997. Their vast knowledge and wisdom led to the success of the business and continues to attract customers from all over the United States. Jan says that although their home is elsewhere, he and Anna have experienced pleasant times in the States so far.
So our roots are much deeper in South Africa, and that was also accompanied with a lot of blood and tears. Here it's been easy, actually, and we are very, very thankful.
Of everything that Jan is thankful for, he attributes many thanks to the apprentices who have worked in his shop over the years. Jan's informal apprenticeship program allows young students to shadow him as he works to learn more about the proper techniques of violin making and repairs. Jan says his apprentices learn through osmosis and eventually do the repair work in his shop on their own. One apprentice, Amelise Arroyo, worked alongside Jan for over 15 years. She says that Jan's influence on her far surpassed her time working for him.
Even as I got older and I didn't need him to check everything and I started studying on my own and getting better, I would always go in and check with different things, knowing that he had more knowledge than I did, and he was always willing to work with me, and it was a wonderful learning experience.
Jan praised Amelise's dedication. Now, Amelise runs a successful bow making and repair business of her own. Despite these small joys, Jan still admits to a haunting nostalgia about his past life and country, which he describes as an inborn melancholy.
I feel that I don't have a country. I don't belong anywhere. I really feel like a motherless child.
Through all of the hardships and blessings that Jan and Anna have experienced, they both still avidly dedicate their time and wistful emotions to each customer that comes through their door.
Here, all our customers are wonderful. They are so loving and so kind.
Anna echoes these same thoughts.
At the end, we're so thankful to be here. I look out and oh, Jan, come look. See how tall these trees are.
Well,
We're so free.
Anna reflects on the freedom that both she and Jan have embraced living in the United States. Their business continues to thrive and will carry on Jan's legacy for years to come. Jan is as much a musician as he is a lawyer, a violin maker, a professor, a father, and beloved husband. He is nothing short of a kind soul. Amanda Grahowski, WUFT News.